In this video, we're going to build a full stack application using Memex. Thank you so much to Memex for sponsoring this video. Click the link in the description to download Memex and try it for yourself for free or follow along in this video. So let's jump right in. And there's one trick before we even write a prompt in Memex that is going to make this really easy and really powerful. Go down to the bottom left, go to servers, MCP servers, server directory. You're going to want to connect to Netlify and Neon. It's a one-click install after you create accounts on those platforms. Netlify is going to allow us to host our application, and Neon is going to allow us to add a backend database and authentication really easily, which is going to give us that full stack app that we want to build. So let's go back to our homepage. And what I want to do is start with a template. Starting with a template is going to make it even easier for us to build a high quality app here with Memex. So we have a React website, we have create and deploy a Python app, Firebase Next.js setup. All of these could work. It just depends on what type of framework we want to use. I'm going to start with the React website, which is just going to give us a really nice design to start off with. So let's say I want to build a full stack app using the Neon MCP connection I have in Memex. So I want the backend, database, and user authentication done through Neon. And I'll worry about hosting later. And then I'm going to say I want to build a simple travel planning app that users can sign into and save information. We'll make it more complicated later, but I just want to start with that initial prompt. And let's go ahead and send that off. So we are doing it under that template, which is going to help us with the design of our app. So basically, Memex, right off the bat, is going to create our project. It's all done locally, saving it on our local machine, which I think is really great because all the code is just saved to your local machine. You can do whatever you want with it. And it's making a plan. Neon database as the backend, user authentication through Neon auth, and the ability for users to sign in and save travel information. So one thing I'm also telling it, you won't have to worry about this, but I already did this as a test and it was going to start using the same database. So I'm going to say start a new project. Don't use what's already in my Neon account. So it's going to start with a fresh one. So I'm on the same page as you if you're following along. Okay, so just to check in, basically Memex has been doing a lot of work and it does it all just based off one initial prompt and then just having it continue. So sometimes, occasionally, I notice it'll be running for a couple minutes and then I'll stop it and have it continue. But otherwise, you just keep going. You tell it to resume and it keeps building things out. At this point, it is setting up the backend server to connect to the Neon database. And I will come back as soon as I have something else to show you. So one thing that MX is able to do, which I think is really nice, is once your conversation is getting really long, you can summarize it and then start a new conversation. So here's the previous summary. And what I'm doing is let's continue with running the server locally to test it out. So it looks like we have made a lot of progress and now it is working locally at least. And the only issue is the design. I can't really see this text very well. But that's okay because the main thing I want to focus on right now is functionality. It'd be super easy to ask the AI to make that change. Let's see if logging in or signing up actually will work. So let's click sign up. And when I click sign up, nothing seems to happen unless I can click just sign in here. Let's see. No. Okay. So I'm going to say now it seems to work. However, when I click sign up, nothing happens. Also, the text is too light to be read. Okay, so let's see if it's able to resolve it with those two prompts. Okay, so now we're back. It didn't fix this part of the text, but let's go back to the bottom and I see now it says new sign up. Again, it's not the best design right now, but I want to focus more on the functionality. So let's try this. I'm going to enter an email, 2 passwords, hit sign up, and let's see if it loads. So I just got an email that wants me to verify. So I clicked that and let's see if that works. So then I'm going to log in. I'm starting another window right now. All right, great. So now when I log in, I do see my travel plans on the top and it seems to be connected to the database. Let's test this by creating a trip. So let's say trip is going to Japan, destination Tokyo. And start date, let's just say August 26th. End date, September 2nd. Okay. Budget, let's say $1,000. Pretty low budget for a trip to Japan, but let's do that. And then description optional is, I can't wait. Okay. And let's just create the trip. And perfect. Okay. So I can see the trip was created. If I refresh, it's still showing up in my account, which means that we have successfully built the basic structure of our full stack app with the database in the backend, user authentication and login, and the ability to actually create trips. Now, there still seems to be some more work to be done. Like when I click on that page, it's not loading it and fetching it correctly. But when I refresh the page, like the trip is still there, which means it's in the database and working in that way correctly. Now, one thing I want to do is just show you how easy it is to basically improve the design. I want to fix this here. So why don't I say, let's improve the design, make everything dark mode, review all pages design from the perspective of an expert web designer. So that can be a helpful thing to add to prompts sometimes. So let's go ahead and send that off. All right, so it says that it is complete. It updated the color palette into dark mode, and it made other improvements as well. So now I just asked it to run locally so I can test it and show you what it looks like. Yeah, this looks way better. This is really nice design. So this is all working great now. So the last thing I want to show you is how to use the Netlify MCP to host it so it's not running locally on my machine, but anyone can access it. So what I'm going to do now is pause this and let's say, now can we please use the Netlify MCP so that it's hosted and anyone can access this. So this is going to be the full tutorial of going from nothing to having a front end, back end, user authentication, and hosting it live. Of course, there's a lot more features that we could build into this. And to do that, you would just work with Memex to actually build those out. But for the purposes of this video, I just want to show you going from start to finish, getting that basic functionality out there. And then once you have that, it's just a matter of adding on additional features. Okay, so we are really close to getting this complete. It just says we need to add the environment variables to the API to connect to the database. So it's telling us exactly what we need to do, which is go to this link, site settings, environment variables, and then add this database_URL with this variable. So then let's click on that. We'll log in to Netlify. So I'll just go ahead and add that environment variable. And then if I go back to the project overview, what I can do is say, just added the variable if you want to deploy again. So after just a little bit of back and forth, basically I was getting a blank screen. I just went to the console log by inspecting the element in Chrome and going to console log and pasting in the error. It solved the issue and now we are live. So this is live hosted on Netlify. And this is the app. Again, of course, there's more design updates we can do. We could always make this a little bit better and add more features. But on a basic level, we've built an app with a backend database, user authentication, and hosting all through Memex. And as a next step, what we could do is start adding more features and building this out further. Thank you to Memex for sponsoring this video. Click the link in the description to check out Memex. You can start on one of their free plans, and I highly recommend checking it out. It's one of my favorite app builders that I'm using today. If you have any questions, leave a comment below and subscribe to our YouTube channel to get free content like this. We'll see you in the next video.